heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and past. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Minishot here, and now, before I do begin, I know a lot of people have wanted to see my take on this series, and I do have to say, let's just see how it goes. Now then, with that being said, we'll pick up with an interrogation room, where currently there is a man sitting down at a table, and the cops, they're stumped. They've ran many things: dental records, facial recognition, and his blueprints. So far, nothing has come up. There's not much in their system. They don't know his dental records. They can't find them. And so far, facial recognition, it's none. They found nothing. They have a John Doe. And that says a lot. The only thing they have on him is his quirk. And, well, right now, his quirk is something special. It's some sort of gas quirk, but that's all they understand about it. I mean, there's gotta be a name for the phenomenon. But right now, they're sort of at a wall. They know that this guy, he's done a lot of messed up shit. But right now they only have 3 possibilities. So right now, the detective, he needs to go in there and find out who this guy is before they send him away to jail, or more than likely, an asylum. Now, with that, we do actually have the detective, he does go walking inside the room. And whenever he does walk over, he does go to sit down. Him looking up to see Izuku, or Joker. Now, Deku, he does sit there, as he does his hands cuffed to the table. Deku just smiling, asking the man exactly what he wants to do now. What I want to do now is get some answers. I want to know exactly who you are. Sorry about that. The name's Joker. Not much to tell you. Besides, I'm sure my boys will be here soon to pick me up. And when that happens, things will get a lot more interesting. A lot better for the story. The story? Okay, what are you? An entertainer? You're a fucking clown. Oh, detective, you don't really seem to understand. There's always an audience somewhere watching. Now, Deku going to try and break his hands. Someone's going to spread them apart to try and throw them outwards. However, they're stopped by the handcuffs. The man is looking up at Deku before looking back down at his notes. Okay, let's see. Reports indicate that there are multiple Grand Theft Autos, multiple counts of murder, well, arson, and, well, you've also been charged with a lot of terrorist acts. How do you plead to this? Guilty as charged. I did it all. Excuse me? Detectives. It's quite easy to understand. I did everything. Come on. What's so bad about it? You're not smiling, detective. Why is that? Problems with your wife? Alright. Anyways. Now, I do have a question for you. From what we do understand about you, you're a ghost. You don't exist. Do you want to explain that? Where to begin? Where to begin? That's a bit tricky. What do you want to know? I'm an open book. Alright. Your quirk. What is it? You see, detective, that's kind of my ace in the hole. You know, I'm willing to tell you about everything except for that. Okay. Well, we removed the makeup and found your scars. We've also at least tried to look into you a bit more. DNA, multiple other things, and we've ran you against the court registry. That is still running. However, from what we do understand, a lot of the stuff that you have done, a lot of stuff you know how to do, and the way you seem to act, it's all confusing. Especially because the way you do seem to also carry yourself. So, what were you? What branch? Excuse me, detective? You're clearly former military. That I do know. You carry yourself like a soldier, you shoot like one, you act like one, you are skilled like one. Along with that, you are built physically like one. I know a soldier whenever I do see one. So, exactly what happened to you? Is this PTSD? Because I've been there before. I got help. And it's all bad, but there are good days. And there are also bad days, aren't there, detective? There are. Some days it's easy, sometimes it's just a minute at a time, an hour at a time. And then it's a day, and then it's a week at a time. So, you need help. We can get you that help. But you have to be willing to get it. Willing to reach out for it. Do you understand that? Detective. You clearly don't understand. Understand what? Are you saying you're not a soldier? If not, then exactly where did you get this training from? Detective, I'm not going to answer that question for you. Listen, I appreciate the sentiment, but it's not going to work. You don't know a single thing about me, and I intend to keep it that way. Besides, by the time you go learning about me, you'll already be dead. That or your wife will. Do you have the time? Now, the man is going to look down at his watch. He is a bit angry by that statement. However, he doesn't let Deku poke the nerve. He doesn't let him hit it. If he knows that it's a sensitive subject, then he'll just go on with it. It's about 4:37. Oof, okay then. Well, that means that they're a bit late. They're late. Alright, so late for what? Now, they're just gonna smile. Before he just gonna lean back and ask the man if he would just like to call his wife. Because he believes that he should talk to her a bit more. Communicate with her a bit more. I mean, of course, Barbara is, well, lonely at times, isn't she? Now, the man is going to look directly at Deku, and he freezes. How does he know that name? Excuse me? Your wife, Barbara. Isn't she lonely at times? I mean, of course, there are, well, some of your friends, but I mean, that's not what I'm talking about. She's left all alone in that house. No one else, no one around, and the only gun you have in that house you're currently carrying. No way to defend yourself, is there? Now, the man he does get to someone to leap up, and really gonna grab Deku by his head before he does gonna just strictly smash it downwards onto the table. And someone does come running in. Now, the man he's pulled out of the room, talking about how the man he's threatening his fucking wife. He's threatening his wife. Now, Deku, he does get to somewhat smile, before going to bring his hand up and going to cover the side of his broken nose. Before he's going to tilt his head backwards and try to stop the bleeding from one side. Now, he's still smiling when he does do this. And somebody else is sent inside the room, as they do try to figure out exactly who this man might be. Okay. Listen, sorry about that. That doesn't usually typically happen. No worries. It's a bit fun. You should do that more often again, but honestly, never start with the head. That's a little bit of a tip. Something that you should know going forwards, kid. Okay, listen. Who are you, really? I mean, come on. At least give me a bit of details. I want to know. I mean, come on. Alright, kid. You want to know who I am? Fine. I'm just someone who's down on their luck. I had one bad little day, and it spiraled into the worst life you can imagine. Okay, I find that hard to believe. What happened? Money trouble? What? Something like that. Okay, well, if that's all you got, then. Now, the man is gonna stand up, and Deku is just gonna bring his hands, talking about how fine, fine, he'll finally at least say something. Now, the man is gonna sit back down, as Deku is gonna weave the man a bit of a tale. He talks about how he was a comedian. He used to do stand up, but nobody ever took him seriously. And many different people, they booed him. Nobody ever liked his routine. So he started to use his quirk on them. Everybody was starting to laugh, and they just kept laughing nonstop over and over and over. And eventually it got to the point where he couldn't stop laughing either. He loved what he did, and you can't really blame him for doing that. I mean, obviously, if you love what you do, it just becomes a part of your life. And well, he just wants people to smile more. You know, just like All Might. Hmm? Okay, so you were a comedian then? Oh, of course, of course. I also did know how to do some magic. You want to see one? I can show you a magic trick. Um, I'll pass for right now. However, I think that within time it will be all fine and good. Now, Joker, he does get to sit backwards in his chair. His hands are still clasped together tightly, and right now he's currently at least moving his fingers. Okay, so tell me then, why do this? Why Joker? It was only natural. I mean, come on. I want to entertain. I want to have the spotlight. Finally get what I deserved. You know, I was always just never there, never up to par. Even like what dear old dad used to say before he. Now, the man is gonna look at Joker. He is gonna face away. And that smile is gonna disappear. Okay, but he brought his hand up into a fist though. Okay, was he abused as a child? Listen, were you are you okay? No, I'm fine, I'm fine. Just bad memories, you know? No. Joker is gonna bring his hands up into his hair, as he does start to somewhat ruffle it up. I just I'd rather not relive that, you know? Just gotta smile more. Now, the man the man can clearly tell. Joker, he wanted to frown. He didn't want to smile. So, why are you smiling? Uh, Detective. That's just something I was always told to do. Society and everything. They've told us what to do. And I wanted to stop listening. Decide whenever I finally do smile. Now, Joker is going to bring his hands up and to the side of his face, where those two scars are. Okay, I see it. So you're always smiling. Not always, Detective. Just when I want to now. Now, the man is going to stare at Deku. He's confused. Whenever he wants to now? Okay, doesn't make sense. Detective, do you have the time? Oh, uh, yeah. Wow, time does fly. It's nearly 5. Why? Oh, perfect. Well, then I do believe that is my cue to leave. Now, the man he is confused. However, they're actually going for the room to start to get covered in a weird smell. And the man just starts to somewhat laugh, as he can't help it. Now, he does start to somewhat laugh before he does go to somewhat look down towards his coffee. Before he does go look back down and go to look towards the glass. He's smiling, and he can't stop laughing. It just gets more and more intense. And they can just stare at the man. Haha, finally! Someone understands and gets it. Come on, give him a good gut-wrenching laugh. Now, the man is going to try and back away. However, he is going to turn around and going to try and walk towards the door. However, Deku, he is going to somewhat stand up. Him going to pull off the handcuffs as he's going to drop the paperclip that the man, whenever he did go to try and attack Deku, he grabbed. Now, Deku, he does at least walk around the table. Him going to grab a pencil and go to someone to put it behind his ear. Before he does going to walk over and going to grab onto the detective. Reaching down and grabbing the gun off of his holster. Before he does going to someone back up and wait. Now, people do start to rush into the room. And the moment that door is going to fly open, people, they do go to someone just run in with the guns pulled, and they are all starting to laugh. It starts off as a small little giggle. However, it does quickly turn into more and more laughter. As Deku, after he does going to feel the man in his arm, or the man he's holding hostage, start to somewhat get heavier and heavier, he does someone just step to his right and let the man go. And just watching the man fall like a sack of potatoes. Before he is going to look down at the man, who he does have a permanent smile on his face, and eyes full of tears and fear. Now, Deku is going to look at everybody else, who they're all on their knees, trying to stay up and looking at him. Before Deku is going to walk forwards and at least inform all of them that the show has just begun, because right now it is 5 o'clock. Now, the moment Deku is going to say that, a loud explosion can be heard, and gunfire just quickly start to spread throughout the precinct. As many people, they do try to get through the area. Some are running for the armory, and some are trying to defend themselves where they are. And right now, Joker, he does go walking out of the precinct. As left behind is a smoking building full of flames. Now, we do actually cut to a few years earlier, where Joker, he was in a similar situation. He remembers how it was whenever he was a child. The real story. He remembers everything about it. The abusive father. The, neglect he felt. The abuse he sustained from both parents. And, the way people acted towards his quirk. And he also does remember the day he snapped. The day whenever he was given this smile. He also remembers the day he burned that place down. He was abandoned by both parents because they saw him as a monster with his abilities. So, he turned into that very monster. He knows what he had to do. The moment he did it, he finally understood. The voices, they told him what to do. They told him what he needed to do. They guided him. They recommended a few things to him. And upon listening to them, the world just made a little bit more sense. Now, Joker, he would go to give a live broadcast and inform everybody as to what he's doing. As currently his latest scheme, it is going to be bloody. It's going to be brutal. And it is not going to be one people are going to want to see. However, no one will want to turn away from it. Now then, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this little mini shot. And I would say a bit more, but I don't want to spoil the origin story. Now then, with that being said, goodbye.